Yeah, hi guys, and welcome back to Marathon-Crossfit here. And today we're going to talk about the question, which bench press grip is best? Okay, so there are a lot of different bench press grips out there. You can grip the you can grip the barbell wide, you can grip the barbell narrow, and you can actually tilt your wrist like this, or you can tilt your wrist like that, or you can close the thumbs fully around the barbell, or you can actually leave the thumb behind the fingers here to support it. So there is a lot of stuff going on with the bench press and with the grip, and actually it is not that surprising that some people can get confused. So the first thing of all what I want to talk about is how an Olympic barbell is structured and how it should be to give you some orientation on the barbell itself. Go to roguefitness.eu or .com to see where the knurling should be. Okay, and the knurling usually starts somewhere in the middle. For me, it's about here above my chest. And what I like to do is my ideal range for maximum power, that is to actually go a thumb wide from the inner knurling into the barbell, so that I'm somewhere in the middle between the outer knurling and the beginning of the inner knurling. Okay, so it's basically like this. Okay, so it is a mid-wide grip, if you so may speak. If I want to attack the triceps a bit more, then I go for a narrow grip. Okay. And if I want to stretch the chest a bit more and go into a bit more of a bodybuilding style kind of bench press, then I use a wider grip. If you are a beginner, what I definitely would recommend, because I didn't do that and I missed out on the opportunity to develop a more well-rounded body right from the start, and also more rounded strength right from the start, is to definitely vary your grip with each set. So if, for example, you were to choose a StrongLifts 5x5 program to start with, which I definitely recommend, and I've also written a review about that on my blog, www.marathon-crossfit.com, in case you want to have a look, then, first set, do the mid-sized grip, then second set, go a bit wider and try to keep the same load, and then vary back and forth. Usually, the more narrow you get, the harder it gets, and the wider, like if you go to the extremes, usually the exercise becomes harder because you can activate less muscles to push the weight up. So that's it about the width of the grip. So now let's talk about tilt in the wrist, okay? Because that is another thing you can vary. What I prefer and what I would recommend you to do so that your wrist actually stays healthy is to keep it like this. Okay, if you want to punch something, that is what you want to be. Okay, you want to be strong from the fist down through the wrist into the arm. Okay, if you're like this or if you're like that, you are most likely to actually fuck up your wrist. Okay, so try to keep a strong hand like this when you're pushing up. Which also brings me to the next topic, which is, should you wrap your thumb around the barbell or should you actually not do that? Well, in my personal opinion, this is called a suicide grip, okay, where you don't use your little thumbs that you also play a PlayStation with to actually wrap around the bar. And it's called suicide grip for a reason, because it's pretty suicidal to use that grip. Okay, me personally, I've tried it. I think it's horrible. I think my form is all over the place if I do it. I can't bend the barbell like a horseshoe like you should for maximum power. And also, if the barbell actually, excuse me, actually gets out of your hands, you can basically decapitate yourself. If you're into that kind of stuff, fair enough. But, I wouldn't recommend it. And the last bit would be also to talk about the flare of your elbows. Okay, so you can bench press like this with the elbows out in a 90-degree angle. or you can bench press with the elbows in like this, okay? So that would be more of a powerlifting kind of style bench press. I usually prefer this one because this is healthier on your shoulders, okay? Because all of the great ones in powerlifting, for example at Cohen, they will tell you that they actually fucked up their shoulders pretty bad because they bench pressed a lot at a 90-degree angle, or they did too much overhead presses. Like Ed Cohen was a big fan of the overhead press. That is now why he is a bit crippled, to be quite honest. I mean, look, the guy lifted more than I will ever lift in my entire life, and he did everything to do the best, and I show him respect for that. However, he also paid a price for it, because if you look at him, he had to do surgery. He can't do dips anymore, because his shoulders are not in the right place anymore. So that is your choice to make, how important it is for you to become the best at something, and whether that will be powerlifting or not. So that's my take on what is the best grip on the bench press. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please share, please subscribe, please comment. And if you pop a comment below, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And sorry for the coughing.